Next, we have the Cortland Company here to give us a splicing demo on their plasma rope. Remember to post your questions in the Q&A module and they will be answered towards the end of the session. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Easton and the Cortland Company.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Justin, I want to say thank you for the introduction, and I want to also say a thank you to the AWRF board and everybody for putting this together. I think that everybody would definitely agree that we want to, would rather be in Denver doing this as a large show together, but with everything considered, we hope that everybody's staying safe and we're making the most of what we can with this. First off, I want to start by saying I apologize for all the hair. It has been a long 6 months and it's been very difficult for me to want to let go of these locks. It's been a great time though, trying to learn and navigate our way through how to come up with content for the presentation today. I think that what we've done is we've put together a pretty good presentation of how to do a buried lock stitch eye splice on our Cortland plasma rope. The plasma rope is a rope that has been around for a very long time, and it's actually got a long track record in many different industries. It's made from high modulus polyethylene, and today what we're going to be doing is taking a look at how the splicing works, doing a lock stitch buried splice on a plasma 12-strand rope. Benefits of using the Hmpe ropes or the plasma ropes are going to be it's 1/7 the weight of a steel wire rope. It's got equal capacities to the wire rope, if not higher, of the equivalent size. And then it also is going to open up to allow for your customers to have a quicker rigging experience due to the lightweight and the strength of the ropes. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead. We've put together this splice training video for everybody to see. And in due time, this video will be coming out for us to allow people to see and access the video so that way they can learn on their own. With that, I will go ahead and hit play.
First thing we're going to do is identify what type and size of rope we're going to be splicing.
Easton, we can't hear your audio. If you want to restart the screen share and select the share computer audio checkbox, it'll help.
Okay. Screen share. There we go. I was afraid that was going to happen. Okay.
Which is categorized as a Class 2 rope. For a lock stitch buried eye splice on a Class 2 rope, we will need to bury 3 fid lengths of rope to meet the manufactured splice specifications. To find the correct fid length for each diameter of plasma rope, please refer to the splicing fid chart on the Cortland written instructions. Now that we know we are splicing 5/8 inch plasma rope, we're going to use a 14-inch fid length. Since this is an Hmpe rope, we will need to take that 14 inches times 3 to get a splice length of 42 inches. From the bitter end of the rope, measure out and mark our full buried fid length of 42 inches. This will be mark 1. At this point, we are going to make a mark around the circumference of the rope. Using your fid mark as a reference point, form your desired eye size in the bitter end of the rope. When the correct eye size is determined, make a mark on the rope directly opposite from your first fid mark. This is going to be mark 2. Now that we have our fid length and our eye size marked, we're ready to start the beginning stages of turning eyes into this rope. We will start by removing all tape from the bitter end of the rope and cutting it at a 45-degree angle. will then tape the correct size splicing fid to the bitter end of the rope. We are now going to insert the fid directly with the rope taped to it through the body of the rope at mark 2. The fid should be inserted between the top 6 strands and the bottom 6 strands. This will split the rope in half when the rope is inserted. We will want to pull the fid and bitter end through until the mark 1 is buried inside of the rope. Now we are going to insert the fid and bitter end of the rope back through the rope at a point that is 2 pick points below the first insertion point. We are then going to pull the fid and bitter end of the rope all the way through so that the resulting loop or stitch is pulled tight. At this point, we have now created the lock stitch portion of the lock stitch buried eye splice. We are now ready to start the buried portion of the lock stitch buried eye splice. At a point that is 2 pick points below the last extraction point, insert the fid into the center of the rope and push it down the center of the rope until it has all been buried inside. We will then extract the fid and the bitter end out of the rope and remove the tape from the fid and the rope. At this point, we will want to pull out enough rope to complete the tapered portion of the splice. Working from the bitter end, count 3 picks away from the end and mark the third pair to form a V-shaped mark on the rope. Then count 2 more picks up the rope and mark the second pair. Alternate counting and marking the third and then second picks for a total of 5 marked pairs, or about 1 fid away from the bitter end. We are now going to pull each of the marked strands out of the braid at the point where it has been marked. We will then put on our cut-resistant glove and cut off the ends of these strands at their respective marks to form a tapered end. We have almost completed the lock stitch buried eye splice. Starting at the base of the eye, smooth out the bunched up rope away from the eye to bury the tapered bitter end back inside of the body of the rope. We have now completed the lock stitch buried eye splice. It is recommended that a cross stitch is put into the rope to prevent the splice from becoming loose or pulled out when the rope is not under load or when it might be mishandled. Please refer to Cortland's cross stitching instructions.
Okay. So that today concludes the end of our lock stitch buried eye splice training session. I see that there are a few questions that have popped up. First one is, I see this splice is for 12 strand rope. Is this splice the same if using a 12 by 12 rope? Well, first off, I commend you for knowing that we have a 12 strand and a 12 by 12 rope. But no, it is actually the different splice that's going to be used on a 12 by 12 rope. That is going to be a modified tuck splice, and what I would recommend is reaching out to your Cortland sales rep to see if you can set up training to get those to learn how to do that splice. The second question is, could this same splice be used to join two ropes together? The answer to that is I forgot to start my video. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let me scroll back up. So doing two splices together, that's actually going to be a end-for-end lock stitch buried splice. So that's going to be a different splice as well. Versus what we learned here today. So again, I would reach out to your Cortland rep to see about learning how to do end-for-end splices with a lock stitch buried splice. This says, is it correct that when splicing, you lose 10% of the capacity of the rope? So this is actually something that has come up a lot in the industry. So at Cortland, what we'll do is we'll actually post and put on to our spec sheets a minimum splice tensile strength. That minimum splice tensile strength is going to be what the rope is made for with an eye spliced in one side. The next one says, is that assembly for lifting applications? So this assembly that we did here in the video was for demonstration purposes, but you can definitely use these high performance synthetic ropes and put splices in it for lifting applications. The next one is, you can't make exact lengths with splicing. So there is a lot of exact lengths that with our tolerances, what we do recommend is that we keep it within 2 rope diameters. And if there's a otherwise specified exact length or tolerances, then we will make those accommodations when that's at that time. Next one is, what is the efficiency of this splice? So the efficiency is at 100% of the spliced break strength that's on our spec sheets. So for 1-inch rope, for example, that has a minimum breaking strength of 110,000 pounds, and that is with an eye spliced on one end. So the next question is, what is the percentage of stretch for the plasma 12 strand? So the percentage of stretch is about 3% stretch at break. So at a 5-to-1 factor of safety, that is actually it's going to be less than 1 at the working load limit. So the next one is, what if I'm not a current Cortland distributor? What I would recommend is getting onto our Cortland website. We actually just redid our website, and it's really a very interactive website, and it'll help you get to a place where you can send in an inquiry and get that question answered. And we can see about working with you to set up. There's a question that says, do you heat set your rope? The answer is no, we do not. We do put our ropes through a process. That's a plasma process is what we call it. And that's a specific process to us where we help to get a stronger fiber tenacity. Is it required to load test these after splicing? Is the next question. Yeah, so there is a load test, and we would load test these slings just like you would with a wire rope sling. You do 2 times the working load limit. And what that would do is that would help set your splice and also to get your proof load certificates. And it's also going to verify your length. So yep, I just answered this one. Do you recommend proof testing? The answer is yes on that. Can you use this rope in a grommet configuration? And if so, how is a grommet impacted by D over Ds? So yes, you can use these ropes in a grommet configuration. The D over D impact is what we state on all of ours is it's a 8-to-1 D over D for our standard lifting and rigging quick reference guide. But if there is questions about D over D, what we'd like to do is work with you guys to find out what kind of information or what connection points there are for us at the end. There's one more. Does Cortland supply the end user directly or within a distributor network? So there's both of those actually are valid questions. There's some customers that the market has determined that it has to go to a direct way, but we do sell a lot of our products through distributors around the country and around the world. And with that, I don't see any further questions.
Oh, great job, Easton. Good
You.
demonstration, great video.